So, yeah, welcome to our seminar today. So we will talk about the data stewardship wizard, a tool that includes, everything related to data management plans, and the Elixir Research Data Management Kit, short RDMkit. But before we go into detail to both tools, I will shortly introduce de.NBI, the German Network for Bioinformatic Infrastructure. So this network is, I would say, a network that is for life scientists. So our mission is here to provide bioinformatic tools, services, resources, training, and cloud computing for life scientists to improve their skills in data analysis, data management, and so on. This network is divided in so-called service centers of different fields. So we have a service center for human bioinformatics, for microbial bioinformatics, plant bioinformatics, RNA bioinformatics, proteomics, lipidomics, workflow bioinformatics, and our network includes also large databases. And we have a specific service center for data management and systems biology. So if you have questions about bioinformatics, you need help with your data analysis, you need help with data management, just contact us via our de.NBI webpage. There are several possibilities. There you find also all information concerning our tools, training, the possibility to connect to the cloud. And if you are somehow connected to a company, you can also work with us in the industrial forum. And over the last few years, we worked in a European project called Elixir Converge. Elixir is here the pendant of de.NBI, so it's a European-wide bioinformatic network. And the basic idea of the Elixir Converge project was to establish good life science data management, reproducibility, reuse, and everything related to data management things. In this project, different things were done. So, for example, good practices were consolidated, and a common toolkit was created that we present here on the next slide, the RDM toolkit. Also, national operations were developed, and everything related to research communities. So the basic idea was to realize a European data federation, that every node of Elixir is connected, and lots of standardization things, and everything, like I said, related to data management. And we want to talk today about two tools here. So first tool is the RDMkit that was directly established here in the Elixir Converge project, and the data stewardship wizard was also somehow supported by the project. And Helena will now talk about the RDM toolkit.
Yes, great. Thank you, Julia, for the introduction. And I also worked on the Converge project, where we created various training materials for data management. And as already mentioned, I would like to introduce you to the RDMkit, which is the result of the collaboration of many colleagues from different Elixir nodes. And why do we need the RDMkit, and how can it help and assist you with data management in your project? So when it comes to writing a data management plan, many scientists and researchers don't know where or how to start. And this is because there are different groups involved, each with different requirements and also knowledge of data management and knowledge of data management plans. And on the one hand, There are investigators and lab managers and also project coordinators who, for example, define how data should be documented and ensure that certain requirements of various journals are met. On the other hand, there are data stewards who ensure that the data is properly managed and stored, and that requirements, especially for sensitive data, are fulfilled. And in addition to that, most funders and policymakers also now require DMPs, so data management plans, based on their templates for national and European projects. And last but not least, we have the researcher, or there is a researcher whose job is to accomplish all these requirements and also follow the requested guidelines. Next slide, please. Yeah, and there exists a large and also comprehensive framework to ensure good data management according to the FAIR principles. And within this FAIR data landscape, there are different repositories, such as institutional repositories or also trusted repositories that are certified and fulfill specific requirements for data management. There are also specialized and national platforms and initiatives for specific types of data, for example, for sensitive data. And we also have the public and general repositories such as Zenodo or Figshare. Yeah, and there are several tools that can be used to navigate through this data landscape with all its requirements. And the RDMkit is one way to get support for data management or for your data management plans. Next slide, please. So the RDMkit is a web-based toolkit by and for the life science community. And I would like to give you a brief overview of how the RDMkit website is structured. So the content is organized by different topics, and you can navigate directly to the subject you are looking for. Next slide, please. For example, one topic is that the RDMkit provides a general explanation of the data lifecycle and all the steps that are involved. And you can click directly on each section to access further information and details, as well as related pages and links to the several steps. And also, depending on the perspective or role from which you view on data management, you may need different information. So for example, as a trainer, I would like to know what to focus on in training and what are my responsibilities in relation to data management. And these responsibilities and guidelines for a trainer may be different from those of a data steward, a principal investigator, and also maybe for a researcher. And all these you can find in the section of your role. Okay, next slide. There's also the option to search for data-specific or domain-specific information and guidelines. And as you can see in the example here of the plant science domain, it has a basic structure with a description part and also considerations regarding the specific domain. And each part includes also proposed solutions, or links to other websites and to relevant tools, like here, the crop ontology, or myopy. I don't know if I pronounce it right. Okay, so next slide. Yeah, in the RDMkit, there's a task section with information about regular research data management tasks or also challenges. And in this section, you will find best practices and guidelines for each data management task, for instance, for the data lifecycle steps for the different one. and or the GDPR compliance, or also the data brokering as shown here in the example. You can click on the specific task, and yeah, then you get detailed description and also a list of all the considerations to be taken into account when performing a specific data management task. And yeah, it also contains links to task-specific training materials, and also links to tools and resources which are relevant for the specific task. Next slide. Yeah, as I just mentioned, various tools are listed in the tool assembly section. So tools assemblies are examples of combining different tools to support RDM across the several stages of the data lifecycle. And the assemblies are aimed for users in a specific location and also within a specific domain. So for example, here the Transmet Data and Computing Tool Assembly, it is an infrastructure provided by Elixir Luxembourg, and it is basically for managing clinical and translational projects. So there are several other tools assemblies listed. And if you go to the next slide. Yeah, the RDMkit has also another section. So for example, the requirements and guidelines can vary from country to country, depending on institute and country-specific policies, funders, and also infrastructures. And so you have the possibility to look at country-specific information about the local funding agencies, and also about information on local policies for open science, or for national regulations and domain-specific infrastructures and tools. And yeah, of course, this is an incomplete collection of information and should always be updated. And if you would like to add information, then you're welcome to contribute to this website. There are different ways to do it, and on the website you can find more information about how to contribute to the RDMkit. Next slide. So there are two more sections. The training resources, which gives you an overview of all training materials mentioned in the RDMkit pages. And the other section is a list containing the main tools and resources of the website. So all these tools and resources are linked to related information in other Elixir registries and databases, like the pair sharing, biotools, or TESS. Next slide. And to provide some numbers, as I mentioned at the beginning, this is the RDMkit is a collaborative effort of over 182 contributors. There are contributions from the 23 Elixir nodes. Overall, 513 tools and resources are listed, and you will find 122 pages of information, help, and support for data management. And the RDMkit has been referenced by a total of 200 distinct web domains, containing several Elixir nodes, funding agencies, and also universities and research institutions. And once again, the RDMkit is an open community project that you are very, very welcome to join. And next slide. And I would also like to mention an example at the national level. So here we have the NFDI for Chem. It has a knowledge base regarding research data management in chemistry. And as you can see on the slide, they not only refer to the RDMkit, but they have also adapted its architecture as a starting point for their own knowledge base. Next slide. Yeah, and to summarize, the RDMkit is a gateway to Elixir's research data management knowledge and also resources. And at this point, I would like to hand over to my colleague, Daniel.
Yeah, I will talk now more about the data stewardship wizard, but first I want to focus here on the connection between RDMkit and the data stewardship wizard. So as described by Helena, the RDMkit is the support and guidance for RDM in total, and the data stewardship wizard is in Elixir mentioned as the fair data stewardship guidelines. And yeah, data stewardship wizard itself includes also lots of links to RDMkit and vice versa. And yeah, data stewardship wizard is a tool that is like a typical DMP, is not like a typical DMP tool, but is a DMP tool, and that you should know there are lots of DMP tools on the market. There's no golden standard, but every DMP tool has its special niche. So I will talk here about the data stewardship wizard because it's the one and only data management tool in the Elixir environment, and it has some advantages, some disadvantages, and on the next slides I will talk more about the advantages, disadvantages. So what is the data stewardship wizard? It is an open source tool that is developed in Elixir Czech Republic. It is there also funded by the Czech government for several years. And it is, I would say, technically developed in the Czech Republic, but there are several versions are available in Europe. For example, there's a specific version for Sweden, there's a specific version for Norway, and there's a quite good interaction between Elixir Czech Republic and Elixir Netherlands. This tool suite is created for everyone. So there are several possibilities to use this tool as a beginner and also as a data steward. The basic idea behind the data stewardship wizard is that the tool wants to serve as a checklist before starting the project, and it supports data management planning with respect to best practices that were created in Elixir. Of course, data stewardship wizard applies to the FAIR principles, so findable, accessible, interoperable, reusable, and these aspects were also directly interact these points with the different questions that were used in the data stewardship wizard. The main ideas behind the data stewardship wizard is that you want to write as less as possible. So and DMP is here not an essay, and you should write as little as possible. Guidance is here a very important aspect, because the data stewardship wizard wants to guide the users through a smart questionnaire. That I would say is here the niche. So in most of the DMP tools, you have quite fixed templates that you can use. And here in the data stewardship wizard, you have a smart questionnaire that will be presented in detail in the next slides. And that goes also in the direction flexibility. This smart questionnaire is easy to edit directly by the user, and you can integrate almost everything what you want. Openness, of course, is also then the next aspect. Anybody can use it and create their own content by different editors, as described before. And of course, here the user orientation is one main point. There are several surveys, and you can also directly go to the developers of the data stewardship wizard and give here your feedback. And the developers are always interested in your feedback and try to include new features and everything what you want into the data stewardship wizard. So here is the typical structure when you want to work with the data stewardship wizard. It's smart. It starts with the smart questionnaire, and after some integrations, you can have all answers. These answers were rated in different matrices, and you had then in the end some kind of evaluation. And as described before in our last webinar, a DMP is a living document, and you have to update your DMP several times during your project. Therefore, this is here also some kind of a circle. As mentioned before, the data stewardship is a smart questionnaire, and here you answer questions, and you don't need to answer all questions directly in the first iteration. So you can start with a few amount of questions, and then maybe in the second iteration, you can go through even more questions. And then you have a more detailed DMP, and also then the evaluation and matrices look a little bit different then, but I will talk about this later on. So this is here the smart survey. The smart survey consists of, as you see here, a question, and you have here several possibilities to get more information about this question. So there are external links to different helpful several web pages, and there's also here for this first question a book linked, where you can get directly the page when you go to the link and get more information. And due to your answer, so the answer was here yes, and you see here a specific item close to the yes that shows you that there's an additional question after you answer the question with a yes. That is also mentioned here. So here, when you click here on this link, you go directly to the book chapter, and you can have a more detailed view on what is or is there pre-existing data and the do's and don'ts. And it's quite helpful to have here also for every question more information. For example, if you're stuck somehow, you can get here more information. And that's here a short insight into the knowledge model behind the smart survey. So like I said, there are different questions, and due to your answer, there are follow-up questions. And at the moment, it's there are about 600 different nodes in this knowledge model available. And as described before, this knowledge model is developed by Rob Hoff from Elixir, Netherlands. He's the person behind, and it's always also it's maintained, it's updated, and there are several people interested in improving this model from your feedback. So how to start with the project here. So you need to rename, or you need to name your project. You choose your model, and then you have to choose here one of the tags, because every question in the smart survey have a certain tag that belong to also a certain template. And you can also choose directly templates of almost everything that is available in Europe. So here, for example, the Science Europe example template is used. And how to use the data stewardship wizard as a researcher. The basic idea for researchers is that a researcher wants to use the data stewardship wizard to create a DMP for their own project. The researcher wants to learn more about data management and wants to collaborate with colleagues in preparing a data management plan. And of course, in the end, you want to be productive with your data management plan. Yeah, as described before, you have to choose a name for your project. You have to select the corresponding knowledge model, select a tag, and then you can go through the smart survey as described before. The point guidance is visible in the smart survey by a color code. So as described before, FAIR is a very important aspect of the DMP of the data stewardship wizards. And you find here at this question, there's a small tag under the answers findability, and findability has here different colors. So green always represents here the best answer. Yellow is then the second best answer, and red is then the worst answer here in this case. And also here there's directly visible when you choose A, the best answer, there will be also some follow-up questions by this short item. There are also some answers directly integrated. So for example, for the funding agencies, there are a couple of funding agencies directly included, where you only have to write some words and then you can directly choose your funding agency. You can also include here specific links to funding agencies that are not in the answer list. And of course, you can include here almost everything that is on the market, links to RDMkit, fair sharing, Crossref, and other initiatives in the field. And that's, I would say, the end product. That's matrices that shows how good your answer belong to the points findability, accessibility, interoperability, reusability, good data management practices, and openness. Openness. And if you are not satisfied with the results, you can then go back to your DMPs, think about your answers, and improve here also the points. Yeah. And of course, in most of the cases, you work in projects not alone, and you want to create a DMP together with your colleagues. And here the data stewardship wizard has the function that you can add several people to your project with different possibilities. So for example, as a project owner, you can do almost everything in the project. As an editor, you have also lots of permissions, but they are somehow limited. And as a viewer, you are, as the name said, you can only view the DMP. And you have here in the interface, you can see directly that different people are now in the project. I would say there are the similar symbols as when you use Google Docs or other collaborative tools. And you have also some kind of a history when someone changes or do some edits in the corresponding project. It is directly visible. There's the time, there's the person, and there are almost all informations about what the people did, and this makes here the collaborative work quite easy in my point of view. And last but not least, when you are ready with your DMP, you can choose several output formats. And yeah, then you have your final DMP in the end. You can use this format then directly for the corresponding funding initiative. For example, as mentioned before in our introduction webinar, the Horizon 2020 projects need always a DMP, and here's the corresponding format then, or the corresponding output of the data stewardship wizard, and you can directly upload this DMP then to your application. Yeah, a small wrap up here. So you can directly use the data stewardship wizard for your own data stewardship, for your own data management planning. So it's ready to start. You only need to register at researchers at ds-wizard.org. There's also for testing new features. There's a specific demo version available, and you can ask questions or give feedback at several platforms. You can write a mail. There's a specific feedback platform, and you can also write it at GitHub. So, and last but not least, I have to acknowledge here lots of people. So, of course, the 182 contributors. So also Helena and myself, we belong to these contributors. We also wrote some chapters, especially for the road pages, for the training road pages. But Bert here from Elixir Belgium is, I would say, the mastermind behind the technical infrastructure. So he's the guy that is hosting the RDMkit and providing new features, and is also involved in editing some pages. And for the data stewardship wizard, my thanks go to the data stewardship core team. So several people from Elixir Czech Republic, and also Rob from Elixir Netherlands. And everything was funded by the European Union in an Horizon 2020 project. And then I want to say thank you for your attention, and the floor is open for some questions.